Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Gatewood, and I am the Communications and Marketing Director at CFRE International. Today, I have the privilege of being joined by Edna Meza Aguirre, and she has been a CFRE since 2016. She has been on the CFRE International Board since 2023. She is based in Tucson, Arizona, in the United States. Currently, Edna is the Development Director and Political Consultant at the Arizona Center for Women's Advancement. Thank you, Edna, for joining me today to talk about the CFRE.
Thank you, Ashley.
And as someone who has had the CFRE for 7 years, what role has the CFRE played in your development career?
From the moment I began my development career in 2003, I always sought to do more and be better. And the field of fundraising is very dynamic, not just with statutory laws involving planned giving, but with all types of trends and practices. So I wanted to stay current. I went to an AFP statewide conference. I saw the lecture being done by one of the AFPs, and I decided, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I studied, and there's an exam involved. And then once you obtain your CFRE certification, you re-up, so to speak, every 3 years with the money that you have brought in and the studying and education you've been conducting. It is a wonderful way. It is the best way to stay current with trends and best practices in our profession because it requires you to take it to the next level. There's no room for error on this exam. It's a multiple choice exam, and it's not like you can finagle your way through it. It really is a test of your knowledge of what's going on in the nonprofit profession from a development perspective.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Yeah, a lot of people have a bit of nerves around the CFRE exam, but we do have a number of resources on our website to help folks prepare for that.
Yes, and I do recommend those. Those are wonderful resources. I used them.
And you passed.
Yes, and I passed.
When someone becomes a CFRE, what added value would you say that they bring to their team and the organizations that they work with?
Yes, in preparing for today, I was discussing this with some of my colleagues here in town, all of which are CFRE unanimously. What we came up with immediately was the ethical component. So by way of context, in a nonprofit, you have the CEO, who's the expert of how to run the org. You have the chief financial officer, who's the expert of how the finances will be run. Your program director, in charge of administering the programs that help the population that you're serving. When you have a development officer, whether they're in the C-suite or not, who has a CFRE, they bring the latest information with them and the latest trends and best practices regarding ethical behavior. And ethics isn't just something that's required of the development officer. It's something that's required of the entire organization. So it's an asset to the leadership team to have someone on board who will know exactly how to answer questions that perhaps other individuals aren't aware of. There's still many people that aren't aware regarding the provisions of privacy, regarding donor information. And you obtain information. What happens when you leave that org? Does it remain private with you? There's a lot of nuances there. And our donors are giving to us because they believe in us, and it's our obligation to treat them with the best ethics possible.
Absolutely. And we all want to think that in a nonprofit, everybody is ethical all the time.
Yes,
We know that isn't the case. And we know as well from people who've gone through the CFRE process that have said, I didn't even realize I was doing something that wasn't completely ethical until I went through the
precisely.
CFRE process. I
Right.
thought that I was, but then I realized, oh, I need to tweak my approach.
Exactly.
And for managers and organizations, why do you think that it is important for them to support their staff in becoming CFREs? We know that 54% of organizations contribute to part or all of the financial costs for CFREs. And what value do you see in employers providing support?
This is the best question, Ashley, because I have always, and I mean always, seen individuals who are on a search committee who are impressed when they see the CFRE initials next to the candidate's name on their resume, on their application. And they may not even be able to tell you exactly what words those four initials are about, but they know that it means that this individual went the extra mile and became certified and has to stay certified therein every 3 years afterwards. What I would like to see as a corollary to that from all organizations, so at this point I'm speaking to the other 46% of the orgs that don't fund the CFRE for their staff, is that perhaps they take a step back and realize a happy employee is a productive employee. And there's a lot of work that's required of nonprofit staff. We do wonderful work. Every org here in Southern Arizona has a great mission and vision statement. And thus, you want the best people at hand. We are no longer living in the society of what I used to call the old tea and cookie organizations, where, oh, okay, let's hire people and maybe we can pay you well and maybe we can't. And, oh, we'll just do it for the good of the org. We had a tremendous change in our financial situation in 2008, as we did during the COVID years. And it has taught us that even though we are working for nonprofits, we deserve the same respect and benefits and treatment that workers do in the private sector. And we can no longer say that because we're nonprofits and all the money we raise goes to programs, we can't fund our employees. That model is also going out the window. And when you consider the cost of an exam, I would challenge those other orgs and say, is it really that difficult for you to find that line in your budget, the application fees and the exam fees, when you consider the benefit it will give the organization? So it is of huge value. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the other organizations step up and fund that for their employees as well.
Excellent, excellent point. Yes. So 54% of employers currently contribute to part or all of the cost. And then, as Edna mentioned, 46% have yet to do so. But we do hear from people that when their employers cover it, that they're always quite happy about it, that they feel that
Yes,
their org has invested in them. And it makes a point that the org thinks that they're worth being invested
you
in,
bet. You
which is a
bet.
huge thing for employees.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for having time to speak with me today, Edna. It was a pleasure as always. And thank you so much for being a CFRE and for your volunteer work on our board and exam committee.
Thank you, Ashley. And thank you to you and all that your colleagues do at the CFRE organization.
Thank you.